Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Coach Krisler's Convos. I have a special friend here with me today because we were in the same cohort at FMCA and got to know each other pretty well. So welcome, Lauren, to the show.
Thanks, Krisler. Thanks for having me and great to see you.
So glad you could be here. And of course, for those of you who are new joining us, just to let you know, these conversations are really informal, so people can share their story about their health journey and how they've used functional medicine. So before we get to your health journey, Lauren, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Who am I? How much time do we have? So, my name's Lauren Romanowski. I live in Laguna Beach, California. And
what do you do?
What do I do? Well, I coach clients, group clients, and corporate clients. And I've also developed a program, a 12-week program specifically for women going through mental pause.
Yes, and I know that is a huge thing. Lots of women are needing support in that area. So definitely that is going to be something that's going to benefit a whole lot of women all over the place. So, so Lauren, tell me a little bit about why you chose to become a health coach.
Great question. So I had my own health concerns years ago, and the majority of my life, over 30 years, I worked in some sort of capacity for Western medicine. Mm. And when I had my own health concerns, and as an advocate for myself, what I was given was 4 prescriptions without being tested, without even really asking me anything other than a symptom. Mm-hmm. And I just knew, in my heart, it wasn't the right path for me to go down. Mm-hmm. And so I started doing a lot of searching, a lot of digging. And when I found the solution of functional medicine, I was like, other people need to know about this.
Yeah.
And absolutely. I felt so passionately about this that I invested in myself to be able to serve others.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, I know being in class with you and all the people in our cohort, we all had our own, kind of paths that brought us to that moment. And what seems very similar across all of ours, and even all of the people I've talked with, is the same thing that you've said. They knew there was something more. They weren't getting the whole story. And so I commend you for knowing that, knowing yourself, and saying, nope, I'm not going to settle. I'm going to go for it. So good for you. So let's talk a little bit about your health concerns and what was really going on with you. So what is there, what would you like to share about that in terms of, when you went to the doctor, kind of what were you feeling and experiencing that said, I need to go, I need to get this checked out?
So a little background: as a multi-time marathoner and Ironman person, I know myself pretty well. Mm-hmm. And been through a lot of training, and something seemed off with my heart. And I was like, oh, that's a big deal. It's one of the major organs here. Sometimes, people can say, my mind's going, but like if my heart goes, I felt, hey, it's big and warm and fuzzy. Some might disagree, but I was like, what's going on here? And I worked for a health system, in a very leading health system, went to a specialist there, and so what's going on? I'm like, it seems weird. I'm not sure. I feel out of breath. It seems like palpitations. I don't know what it is, but I know me, something's off. Mm-hmm. Oh, here's 4 prescriptions and we'll get you tested. I even had a radial angiogram done to look inside my heart, where they send it up into your heart. And I still have the pictures. Nothing wrong, little calcification, but nothing to be alarmed by. They put me on a stress test, and they put the incline so high and so far that I was in the top 1% of people taking it, because cardiovascular wise, super strong. So what's going on? And that's when I didn't fill the prescriptions. I kept getting hounded by emails over and over again. And then I was like, let me figure this out.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting that they weren't finding anything, and yet they're encouraging you to take medication for whatever they're not finding?
Yeah. For what? Well, just in case. And just in case what? Where is this coming from? And so
what kind of information were you receiving in terms of what could be a negative of taking the medication?
Oh, geez. I mean, 4 heart medications, to lower my blood pressure, which wasn't high, to, for arrhythmia, it was awesome. My resting heart rate, is typically really low because I'm a conditioned athlete.
Right.
My resting heart rate's in the 40s. And then, being tired, being fatigued, getting dizzy, weight gain or weight loss or whatever, hundreds of commercials had said, that you spend, 1 minute watching, if you didn't re-record it, of all the side effects. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. So you're getting these, you've been given these 4 medications for who knows what, with a pile of side effects that certainly are not good for you. And you say, okay, no, thank you. I'm going to advocate for myself and kind of pull away from these and say, let's go a different direction. So when you began looking on your own and, asking questions and reading information, what were you finding?
Especially this was, several years ago, and things were just sort of up in the air, because if you're looking outside of a typical Western medicine, everyone thinks it's woo-woo, or is it holistic, or what is it, or, where do you look? And then it's just like, there wasn't a specific place, and you keep digging and digging. And then, randomly I came across a couple functional medicine practitioners, and I was like, whoa, this makes sense. And so I started digging, and then I became possessed.
Yeah, as we all do, because once it clicks, it's like, oh, I want to know more. I want to know more. I want to know more. Yeah. So were these practitioners local to you that you found?
No, not at all. I really didn't even understand the whole concept of functional medicine at the time, knowing the root cause and, where is it stemming from? And so one person, is in Texas, another person is in somewhere else, but what they were saying was resonating. And then I just kept doing a deep dive and a deeper dive into what they were writing and what they were saying. And then it was like, all right, we're on to something here, because it's not just a Band-Aid over a rapid heartbeat on occasion. Where's it coming from?
Right.
Is it my food? Is it the exercise? Is it, my nutrition? Huge, area where inflammation can stem from.
Yeah. So once you kind of found this, thing that was like, oh, okay, this seems to make sense. What did you begin to start to implement for yourself or change that you saw, oh, this seems to be making a difference for me?
2 things. The first was my nutrition. I'm a very rigid eater anyway, because of all the working out I do. So, I was checking my macros, micros, and everything. And so nutrition was key by eliminating high glycemic and inflammatory foods.
Mm-hmm.
I removed all gluten and grains, and high glucose or high sugar type foods,
Mm-hmm.
all processed foods. And then what was like a aha moment or the light bulb going off was dairy. Because when I entered some of these foods, huge reaction.
I see. So you eliminated several things. And when you went to reintroduce them, which is a big part, you know, people hear elimination diet and they think, oh, well, I just get rid of it and that's it. But it's like, no, we have to eliminate to let our bodies heal a little bit and kind of re-up. And then you reintroduce to see if at all, if that is the thing that is having the negative effect on you. So what you found was dairy was a huge trigger for you.
Huge.
So what kinds of things were you finding with dairy that were happening when you reintroduced it?
Well, like I thought of it, you know, and still do, like, if you look at cheese, as delicious as it is, I can't knock cheese because it's delicious, but it just doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a mucus in my system. My nose would run, my eyes would water, and it was just wanting to get out of my system. And with grains and gluten, sweating. And I'm like, are these night sweats? Are these hot flashes? Or is this a reaction? Because who doesn't love bread? Warm bread, slathered with dairy, you know, butter, you know? Why not? And then
very interesting. You know, those are not symptoms that I think people would think about in terms of it related to your health and your body telling you, this is not what I want. You know, when we think of runny nose and runny eyes, we think allergies, you know, we think cold, you know, things like that. But we don't think about it in a way of our bodies talking to us. It's telling us something, right? We need to pay attention to that. So it's very interesting that those kinds of symptoms were ones that you were like, oh, this is a thing for me, right? Yeah.
100%.
And the night sweats, oh my God, the sweating, that's something I don't think I've heard before.
And I thought it was night sweats from menopause. And a lot of this happened right when I was nearing and in menopause. And so I was just like, is this an allergy, a reaction, you know, or is this menopause? What is it?
Right.
You know, it's a culmination of a lot, but removing those foods, and, you know, people would say, just take a pill, just take, you know, put on a patch, just rub on the cream, you know, just. And, you know, that wasn't my thing. You know, I just found a way.
Right. Very interesting. So removing the gluten, the high glycemic foods, and removing dairy. Was there anything else that you implemented or you found that was very beneficial for you?
Aside from nutrition, the second thing I did was started delving into, and now I'm neck deep into mindfulness and not just meditation per se, but really mindfulness and being present. Because I think there was probably some past traumas that weren't addressed that I kept, you know, carrying along in my backpack. But that backpack got too heavy. It got too heavy for my heart.
Very interesting.
And that was both of those things. And those were my top two game changers.
Wow. You know, it's interesting. I think that, you know, one of the things when we were in our training, a big part of what our training was knowing the client, knowing their story, knowing their history. And, you know, we utilize the functional medicine timeline as a part of that, right? Getting to know our client and, you know, thinking about all the things that go into a person's timeline, you know, especially when you're talking about this stage of your life, and all the things that had, you know, previously built up to that. I think in conventional medicine, at least, we've missed out on a lot. You go in, you do the form for your doctor. It asks you, all the general questions. It's like a couple pages long, and, it is what it is. But when you look at really digging into what's going on, and for you, there were things in your past, like you said, I love that backpack analogy, that you had been carrying all that time, and it just continued to weight you down. And you got to a point where it was like, yeah, can't take it anymore.
Yeah, my body said enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my physician said, take a pill, all 4.
So what kind of mindful practices have you found beneficial? What have you implemented?
I do use a few. I mean, I exercise regularly 8 or 10 times a week. That's just who I am. So incorporating movement, is key. And that's just a natural part of my day. But with mindfulness, I never realized I was living a lot in the past without realizing, but expecting my present to change, or I worried so much, creating more stress. So using different apps, one I really love, can I say?
Absolutely.
Oh, one I really love is Waking Up by Sam Harris. His meditations and his little 1 minute, slow your roll for the day.
Yeah.
And just take a reprieve. And it's 1 minute, and 1 minute can reset you in a phenomenal way. And then my second is anything by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And if you're listening, or anyone is listening to Dr. Joe, I drink the Kool-Aid. He's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you do the Waking Up app first thing in the morning?
I do Dr. Joe in the morning.
Okay.
And, I have to plan around this time for it, where I'm not going to be disturbed, and trying to stay in the present moment, because it's easy to think about, okay, I got to do this, 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 or this. But mindfulness has really kept me grounded right now. And you don't worry about any other thing. You don't remember any other thing but this moment. And it's so beneficial. Yeah. First thing in the morning is always a mindfulness practice. And then, sometimes that's when your brain and your mind is most receptive, early in the morning, and, right before you start falling asleep. And, that's something else, I've gotten into our different brainwave patterns. And, your alpha state is, when you're sort of in that twilight in the morning and at night, because you're usually in beta most of the day, 3 stages of beta, but you're in beta, and you want to get into that freeing state, that present state where you can just be. That's too long-winded.
Yeah. No, that's
I love
great.
this. I love what I do.
Absolutely. And your passion for it is coming through. And I think, again, that's why, that's how you're going to really benefit your clients. So the 2 mindfulness apps have really benefited you. They've helped you. And, as you're talking and I'm listening to how you have changed things and really dug in, I feel like I'm hearing some strengths come through, like love of learning, self-regulation, perseverance, and honesty. Are any of those in your top strengths?
You know what? I'm looking at my list right now. When we took the VIA character strength, and you're pretty spot on.
Awesome. Yeah, that's phenomenal. Yeah, you definitely, I can hear those coming through, and they fit you so well. And it seems like those strengths are serving you very well, because you've utilized those to really get yourself to a place of full vital health. So thinking about Lauren today, and Lauren, when you first went into the doctor to start telling them how you were feeling, tell me what the difference is of Lauren today versus then.
Like truly, without even, being here with you, it's been a total reinvention. I had to commit to changing, and because I could have easily went down the other path, but I had to commit to me. I bet on myself. And from the time of, having the heart problems, there's been a lot of other huge life changers that almost crushed me.
Yeah.
But, I guess resiliency, popped in, and, I found a way to turn it around, and I turned it around 360.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's weird. There were times when I didn't believe it was possible or even
and
probable.
Look at you now, you're here. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much, Lauren, for sharing your story so candidly. And for those that, are like, wow, this sounds like me, or, if they want to know more about you or connect with you, where can they find you?
Could probably find me on my Peloton, but if not, at You Until Now is my business page. You can find that on Facebook. And then also we have a community called Mental Pause, No Sweat. And that's a community on Facebook as well. Feel free to email me, message me, Lauren@youuntilnow.com.
Awesome. Well, you heard it. Go into Mental Pause, No Sweat, or You Until Now. Check Lauren out. She is an open book, you guys. Connect with her. She is a wealth of knowledge. So for those of you that are out there that want to get more conversations, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye.
Thanks, Krisler.